Once I watched that movie, Tyson, it was clear to me that he was a completely socially engineered creature, and I use the word creature. He was not a human or a person,
Wow.
and and it was all about tapping into his rage. And I mean, look, it could have been worse. I mean, he probably could have been incarcerated, but they pulled him out of there, and he was taken upstate to Cus D'Amato's, boxing farm up in upstate New York, and they turned him into a killer. And a lot of people made a lot of money off Mike Tyson, including Don King. And once he went to jail, a lot of the fight was out of him. And you can see in his last fights with Evander Holyfield that he had nothing left. I mean, he was just the anger and the rage in the machine was just gone. And it was quite sad to actually see. It wasn't sad on some level. On another level, it was like, okay, now he has a chance to be a human. He and Robin Givens were the Beauty and the Beast, weren't they, on some level?
Yes. Yes. And like you said, this society glorifies either the effeminate black male or the beast that will make money as a gladiator.
Yeah.
Those modern gladiators until they're worn out, and then you get the next crop. We're going to exploit what we fear in you. If we can use that in a way that makes us feel safe and that we can exploit it and make millions of dollars out of it, you can be a beast within a box.
Yeah, a beast in a box, or a ring for that matter. Yeah.
The ring, you're still dealing with sacred geometry when you box somebody in.
That's right. You're absolutely right. So I actually have a drop on you here. It's about 3 minutes worth of you're talking about the power of sperm. So I'm gonna play this. This is part one. I like part two a lot as well. But part one is the intro. And if you want to catch part two on YouTube, you can. It's about 3 minutes. Let's listen to this, and it'll give people kind of an understanding about where your head is at, what you talk about. And I'll catch you on the back side of this, okay?
Okay.
Here we go.
Welcome back to the Alexyss K Tylor Vagina Power, Penis Power, and Sperm Power show. We're going to get a little bit more detailed. We're going to go deeper, so stay with me. If you think it might sound crazy or far-fetched and you don't understand it, it's okay. Just bear with me. I'm going to take you on this journey, and I'm going to explain to you the spiritual power of sperm. See, sperm in itself, and many of us miss this lesson because our mamas didn't want to tell us this, and we were given all the fake rules. We were told, now you sit like a lady and you keep your legs closed and you cross your legs and you make sure that when you cross the street you look both ways so that no car is coming, you don't get hit, and you make sure that it's red and it's not green. See, we were taught all the fake rules. But mama never really wanted to get into the game, the rules of engagements in the street, how we get played, and the predator mode that men are in. See, predator mode is a very powerful mode for a man to be in because that's how men choose their mate. That's how men decide if they're going to settle down or not. That's how a man decides which girl is going to be his hoe, which girl is going to be his wife, and which girl is going to be his mistress that he pays for and puts her up in a nice penthouse and buys all the nice jewelry and gets her hair fixed and makes sure she has nice, pretty clothes. See, men have that agenda locked in the mind of their sperm. See, the sperm is very delicate and they can be very tricky. That's why sometimes we can't figure a lot of this shit out. We're going through these motions with the man. Does he love me? Does he love me not? We're trying to figure out. I've been with him for 5 years. I'm the best lover. I can fuck. I can suck. I can cook. I clean house. I wash his toenails. Hell, I even clean his asshole. We're doing all this stuff. We wonder, why won't he leave his wife? Why won't he leave his
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, nobody has cleaned my asshole, but it's
girlfriend? Or when is he gonna pop the question? Well, quite frankly, he don't have to pop the question because he knows that you haven't demanded it because you don't understand and overstand the consciousness of that man's mind in his sperm cell. See, sperm has a high self and sperm has a low self. The low agenda, or what I call the DOG and the GOD, the dog and the God. Well, see, that low part of that man's mind in his sperm cell is only focused on sexual gratification and ejaculation and as much pussy as he can conquer. So because we are out of balance with ourselves, and many of us are having pussy pains, or many of us are having pussy fights, we get into all these pussy competitions. While we busy fighting each other, and we looking over here what she got, how big her booty is, how big her titties are, how she suck dick, how she fucking, what the wife doing, what the girlfriend doing. See, we are totally off guard over here to what the man of the mind of his sperm. We're not catching what is going on in that low part, and that he's still in the low agenda, pleasing, sexually gratifying, and jacking off to the dog in the God in himself. So that's why many of us are not keeping our men. And when we get their attention at first, we lose their attention a few weeks or maybe even a few months. Sometimes we lose it a few days.
I got to tell you, I love that line, the dog and the God. That's amazing. That's a great line. Wow. So so where are you? When did you come up with that, and where are you with that now? And talk a little bit about the consciousness of sperm, the higher and lower self of sperm. That's utterly fascinating.
Oh, you mean where am I with the dog and the God?
No. Just like where were you? Like, when did you actually record that? I think was that 2006 or 2008?
Might have been 2008. I did.
Okay. So where are you with that information now, and how has that impacted your life? And what is the whole concept of sort of the different layers of consciousness within the sperm itself is utterly fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at the same place. I was there. I teach about that, the science behind it, and I'm going to get into it July 10th in New York City with the Summer of the Dick, because it's quite fascinating. Sperm is quite fascinating because there's a metaphysical mind of sperm. Everything comes from the cosmic mind of all life. So when you deal with sperm, you must deal with astronomy, astrology, and numerology. That is how it's programmed on quantum math. So you cannot really chart or measure sperm completely on linear time, because linear time does not exist in the quantum mind of sperm. It really does not exist in your body. That is, your body does not function on linear time. Your body functions on binary code and quantum time, because that's where you come from, and you're projected in a suspended animation that looks like it's standing still, that looks like it's physical. Even the earth is not standing still while we're having this conversation. So there's no way your body can be standing still, and everything that is in your body, all of your organs, is computing right now based on space, time, and space numbers. So that's the same way that sperm moves. So you have a higher level, a middle level, and a lower level of sperm. And it's also your body and sex, spirituality and sexuality is controlled by and comes from your central nervous system. So all of the information that comes from your soul is being downloaded and constantly fed through your central nervous system. And then from there, it is projected through your chakras and auric fields, and then into all of your organs in your body. So the sperm and the mind of the sperm in your testicles is connected to your mind between your ears.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
That's why it's important to determine who you deal with and what's ejaculated in their sperm and their seminal fluid, because that is going to become a part of you and impact you to take you to your highest goddess state or to the lowest goddess state. And if he's moving from a place that projects his sperm through ejaculation that deals with the old brain, the paleo-mammalian brain, because if he's controlled by that, brain is controlled by the 4 F's, fight, flight, feeding, and fucking. So you ain't going to really get no results dealing with that kind of sperm.
Interesting. You use the analogy of the predatory male a lot in your work. So what is beyond the predatory male? What is the more evolved state where a man is not predatory, but he's still a male and he still has this desire to connect with a lover, generally a woman? What's the next level beyond predatory for a man?
Penis power, the resurrection of the gods.
Okay. And how does a man begin to cultivate that state within himself so that when he actually is with a lover, that's the place he literally and figuratively comes from?
Because he wants to elevate himself, and he realizes there's a deeper meaning to sex instead of ejaculation and sexual gratification. He's looking for his soulmate. He's looking for his twin flame, and he wants to be balanced in his relationships, and he wants to be nurturing in a relationship with a woman. So he will look for all of the weaknesses within himself and start to balance himself out and consecrate his own mind and his own body and spirit and clear out the issues that he has within his own chakras. Because a lot of men have heart chakra issues. So they can be sexual with a woman, and they feel safer sharing their dick with her and not sharing their heart with her, because it makes them more vulnerable, and it's kind of weaker for them to have to open their heart to a woman, and then more of a fear of being hurt. He doesn't have to do that if he's just having a sexual experience. So a lot of men won't admit that to women. A lot of women don't know why it's just sexual. Why am I in love with him and he's not feeling the same way towards her, because she didn't identify that he has a blocked heart chakra. So he cannot give her nothing but sexual pleasure. So when a man is ready to move beyond that, he faces his fear, and he deals with the heart chakra and the pain associated with it so that he can project love into the ethers, and a woman can respond and then receive it and have it reflect off of her membrane back to him.
So for a lot of men, here's my take, okay? For a lot of men, they have incredibly unresolved relationships with their mothers.
Yeah.
And so what they do is they wall the heart off, because for them to open up the heart is for them to then project onto the woman their maternal needs, maternal desires, all of these things that are completely unresolved for them. And so therefore, they can come from the first, the second, the third chakra, but not the fourth chakra. And so when they do open up the heart chakra, what they have is they have an atrophied relationship with the female, because they have not dealt with their mother issues. And so then when they finally decide to open their heart and be with a woman, then their vulnerabilities and their insecurities and all these things that come up based on abandonment with the mother rise to the surface. And then women tend to reject them at that point, because they see them as being fallible, they see them as not being the men that they married, they see them as being children. And so therefore men on some levels in our culture are in a double bind, because once they do and that stuff comes out, then they are summarily rejected because of that. And when that relationship fails, they just build a higher wall around their heart. You understand what I'm saying?
I mean, of course I understand it, because I've experienced the same thing, and I've dealt with men that responded that way or run. And all women do not treat men that way, that open their heart, and that's what I talk about, because you have to learn to realize that many times it looks like a big, strong man on the outside, and he might be 10, still in his mind going through role play with the mother who took his power and stepped on him.
That's
so
right.
You have to recognize that in him, and that he is trusting you to be vulnerable. Because many men won't trust women to be vulnerable, because then they attack them or they humiliate them and see them as weak. So it takes a special woman that has so much love coming from herself for that man, and that she can identify all of the inner child, the wounded little boy in him, because she identifies the wounded little girl in her, to be very patient and very kind and understanding to him, so that instead of him wanting to run from her, once he opens himself and feels vulnerable, like, uh-oh, I can't do this, and wanting to fear lashing out or attacking her before she attacks him because he feels exposed, she then learns how to pull him in and help to heal him. That's what I'm bringing, because all women don't feel that way. I'm honored when a man exposes himself to me, because I know that many men don't feel safe to do that. So this is something about the energy that they feel from me to share that part of their soul that's wounded.